Go. Hello everybody, welcome to this rather glorious event. Looks like Kudoku has left the game. We're going to be observing Rain's Artist going up against viOLet. He is the Zerg, so it's going to be a very nice game, and we're just going to go quickly do this so we can not have you confused about the overlay. And we're going to have a very cool TVZ for you guys on a great map. TVZ is a very interesting matchup, especially when you get the long macro maps, and we're going to see Artist probably doing some very, very impressive aggression. We've seen him drop in the last couple of games. We're probably going to see him drop a lot more now. If viOLet's going to end up mass expanding on this very, very large macro map, we'll probably be seeing drops going everywhere at once. Now, if we take a look at what his players have for their expansion patterns, we have Artists able to expand towards viOLet. That's a pretty big deal. Also, notice the changes to GSL Terminus SE. There is no longer destructible rocks at this point to make it a not in-base third. It is now a in-base third once again with full minerals as well as Vespene gas at normal geysers. There's just destructible debris here to prevent the very, very quick third base, which is unfortunate for a few reasons. One is that viOLet would really like to get that fast third, and two, Terrans can just kill those rocks and then have a fully in-base third that cannot really be hit by anything through the ground, because you'd only have to defend this one odd zigzaggy choke. If that zigzaggy choke can get defended, all three bases are defended, and you can have some very, very quick expansion play coming from any player. Terrans especially can get that going out with the orbital commands and the safety of being able to build them and float them down somewhere else. Still, viOLet is going for his natural expansion first, and no spawning pool for him quite yet. He's now up to 16 food. This might have been a 15 hatch, 16 pool, which is a very, very economic play. We see him there now with a 200, and there we go. Spawning pool is down. Barracks is already completed, so Artist, if he decides to go for some aggression with some bunkers and some Marines, it could work. It could work, do some damage. As of right now, he's only just now beginning to scout, but he's actually going to be throwing down his expansion. Very fast expansion. Once again, the gasless expand is his build of choice. He did that in TVP, and now he's doing it in TVZ. So clearly, he is very, very, very happy with that. Now, viOLet's going to go ahead and attack that one drone, then misclick and take a couple hits on this drone. So viOLet is here. He might be forced to pull down a few drones in order to defend this. His spawning pool is still not done, and here we go. Drones are being pulled. Extractor is almost done, and now we're going to have Artist building with a bunker with SCV, possibly, unless he's just pulling back. It looks like he did decide to pull back. The Marine is running across the map. Here we have Artist once again. Nice building placement, using the supply depots for a purpose and not just having them anywhere he wants. Double gas is going down. We're probably going to see some quick teching out of him with the factory line, unless he's going to go ahead and do something different, like going for some really fast stim combat shield Marines and timing push with them. We're going to have to see how viOLet's going to deal with the possibilities and scout. He does have an Overlord here ready to scout and see the build. He will be able to now see that expo, and he should get a pretty good handle on what Artist can have. And I really like that he pulled back, because it means he's going to hide the fact that he knows what Artist is doing. And now, oh no, Ursidon, the admin is lagging. Okay, no more lag for the admin. So we're going to see the orbital command. There we go. And as for viOLet, he's just continuing to drone up. He's getting his metabolic boost. As right now, he only has one guy in his extractor. Probably going to go ahead and get his lair at some fairly soonish timing. This count of links, he can easily leave one at the watchtower and use the rest to take down these rocks, so he can work on getting down the third ASAP. Because he's going to be hard-pressed to deal with a very, very economic Terran coming out of Artist. You can see that Artist is now going down for his factory as well as a reactor. So he's actually going for the reactor opener, a delayed one, after getting down his no gas expansion. So we can see the reactor is going to finish. The factory is going to be able to go directly onto it ASAP. And there we're going to see the dancing of the micro of the buildings, and the tech lab on top of this barracks. Probably going to be seeing stim being researched there. Now here we have both Hellions being made. For defenses, we're going to have one spine crawler, more than enough to defend the aggression from those Hellions. But the Hellions don't necessarily need to do any damage in order for them to be productive. We do have the Lynx taking down the rocks to work on that third base for Artist, and there is some nice building placement from viOLet. Artist is going to probably just use the Hellions just to continue having vision and prevent the expansion of the creep even more. See, viOLet has this creep queen. I'm literally calling it the creep queen because it's what it's dedicated for. Queens are already at the main and the natural, and viOLet is just spreading as much as he can. But these Hellions are pushing forward. If the queen pushes down a creep tumor, when the Hellions come over, get taken out very quickly. There we go, moving forward, and goodbye to that creep tumor. And there's a cancellation on that one. Nice move, as this queen's going to go ahead and retreat. But here's the thing: lead creep tumor is still there, though it's entirely plausible that Artist could just scan and take those out, but he may just want to go for the mules instead. Now we have 4 Hellions on the field. You can see that they're actually stopped being produced, except for this one. Once this is finished, we may see some kind of switch from Artist. Let's going to try and commit to the Hellion production. But now you have those Hellions patrolling. They're actually still outside the original vision of viOLet, so viOLet could easily spread creep and have it instantly killed by the Hellions. So down here, looks like Artist should be going for a tech lab or something on top of that factory. The starport's going to be built on top of that reactor. And now I see moving forward, and all those lings, they are on creep. They're in a nice surround, but there's not quite getting the placement that they really need. Too many Hellions are out, and they're going to go ahead and clean up the Zerglings. Notice that I think only 1 Hellion was actually killed, and that's a little bit unfortunate for viOLet. But look at this, a macro hatch is going to be used for the wall, as the viOLet has now also expanded to this 3rd base, looking solid for him. Artist has not exploded quite yet, still has his bunker in play, just now getting his 3rd gas. The engineer bay is researching his +1 weapons, and we're having medevacs coming out. Double medevacs. Factory is now equipped with that tech lab. Probably going to be seeing siege mode, siege tanks, all of that happiness going to be built from the factory. But still, these rocks are still there. Artist is not taking them out quite yet. And now the Hellions are just continuing to be having a threat to viOLet's map control. viOLet's now teched up. He's got banelings out. If you look around, they see where's the baneling nest. There it is. No centrifugal hooks quite yet because there's a lack of a lair. It has not even started yet. This is very odd that viOLet has not started. It's not started a lair. I don't know if he's expecting some kind of bigger attack coming out from Artist, but as of right now, viOLet is just going to go ahead and just be aggressive with his lings. Good micro on the Hellions to keep even all these hurt ones alive, but now we're going to have a push out from Artist with these Marines. They have this stim, no combat shield though, it's not even close to being done, but viOLet is droning up. He just produced a round of drones. Now we seem only able to get 6 lings, 6 banelings. Now we're pushing forward. Spinecrawl get taken out. A lot of damage has been done so far. Queen's going to get killed. Never mind, Queen will not get killed, but no more upgrades from that Evo chamber, as viOLet is just going to be able to take so much damage. He needs to try and stabilize, as right now Artist is just continuing to be aggressive and pushing back, but he's still producing from the main unit structures. And now we're going to see on creep, banelings are there, but they're going to get lifted off, and that will be the end of that attack. Looks like we're going to see some kind of a drop on the top, as Artist is going to go ahead and try and take down the hatchery. Lings are there. It's going to be more than enough to actually deal with the drop, as they're going to push forward, and Artist is forced to lift. And look at that, saving those units with such little health. Nice move. All these Marines are still alive. Just going to go ahead and retreat, regroup with these 2 very damaged Hellions, and viOLet's now going to work on getting out those extractors. Lair is finally completed. Spire has been built, but this is a very late Spire. This lair was started around the 10-minute mark, and that is a late lair. Without getting like 4 or 5 bases, I don't know if it's really going to be worth it, but look at the drone count. That's what's incredible. 67 drones to 47 SCVs. Nothing has been killed by Artist in terms of drones. That is not good. Artist is just still continuing to produce those medevacs, but look at how low energy they have. 5 energy on each of them when I say that. And now we see a death of a bunch of lings. That is a nice little move. But these lings, they do have their metabolic boost. They can run away if they really want to. I feel like I could try and make a safety dance joke, because if they don't run, then they're no friends of... Never mind. Now we're going to have the medevac moving forward, but notice the lack of energy. Finally, we have a medevac that has energy, but this drop is going to be much more ineffective without the healing of those units. Now we're going to see Artist on the bottom going to try and take advantage of this position moving forward, but there are tanks here. They're going to have siege mode on the low ground. Very nice position for the siege tank. We're going to see him moving in. All these guys are pushing forward. We're going to have death happening on a lot of those units. viOLet is not out by any means, but he's still as a rough position to try and defend, as banelings need to connect with these so badly. But there's no no several hooks yet. It's being researched, but it's not quite done. Violet's trying to buy time, and it looks like Artist is going to regroup here on the left. Siege tanks are on the back, but they're very, very far behind these Marines. There we go. There's the re-siege of this frontal siege tank. Going to move forward, and we're going to have Artist going to take advantage of this choke. Now we're going to see a lot of units moving in. Lings, banelings, everything going to push forward down and clean up everything. Look at the massive amounts of Lings getting surrounds. The splash damage for the tanks hurting everything else. Tank does not get saved. Artist does manage to save Marines, but this is a rough thing to deal with. Got another drop happening on the left, same time as that attack, and at the end of that battle, Artist has only killed 4 drones, and 16 mutas are in production. Talk about a healthy muta Artist. Ooh, Artist, this is risky. Look at that, those free kills. Unless he's going to react and sub them with the medevac. Will he? He will not. Just going to retreat with the medevac. Mutas are now out, but so many mutas in production. Violet's now up 40 food, just saving so much in terms of those resources for the mutas. They've seen taking out medevacs and everything. Artist is now working on taking Planetary Fortress base over here because he has not been able to deal with the destructible rocks that are there. Mutas are forced to pull back. Lings are pulling back as well. The muta count is now up to 20. Very nice play from Violet. This is so aggressive. He has such a possibility of doing just incredible amounts of damage. Just maybe even going on the verge of terrible, terrible damage. Just to quote Jennifer Warfield. So all these mutas are so ready to deal damage, but there's a nice bunch of Marines here. There's a turret there as well. That turret's going to fall very quickly. Marines stim. All those Marines stim. Now we're going to see the mutas pulling back. A lot of damage done to the Marines through that stim. 62 drones to 52 SCVs. Income is looking like it's in favor of the muling Terran, as all of these players are just trying to be as stabilization. You can't be as stabilization. No, that's not English. They're trying to just stabilize as much as they can, being aggressive, showing threat, but not engaging, not committing too much. Artist is still very low on his medevac energy, pushing forward. Lings going to come in, but the mutas led. They're going to go ahead and continue dealing damage. Lings and everything attacking. Big surround on all those tanks and everything. Mutas adding a nice bit of splash DPS. Banelings exploding. Lings going down against everything, and the muta count, even though it's going down, the food count is staying in favor of Violet to such a nice degree. The medevacs are falling. Having such a lack of energy is really hurting them. And look at the aggression from Violet and these 18 mutas pushing forward. Goodbye to that bunker, maybe. There we go. Finally goodbye to the bunker. Marines do end up dying, and now it seems that Violet is going to just go ahead and try and engage this Planetary Fortress with those mutas. Very smart move. You can see the repair going to be happening. Goodbye to the missile turret. That's the only anti-air that is there. We have Marines trying to come down, but GG gets called. Violet will take game number 1.